Hi, my name is Polly Long, and I'm going to be presenting consumer decision processes. So I included the model of motivation because I think it really goes hand in hand with this project, especially when in the car buying. So you start out kind of with a discomfort, which occurs between a gap between your desired and actual state. And then you go to drive, which is produced when you're trying to actually achieve a goal. And also drive is where your wants and your needs come in. And then lastly, of course, is the goal. So I really think that this comes hand in hand when you're purchasing and making a decision when buying a product. So for this project, I interviewed two people. The first interviewee is a 30-year-old male. He was a blue-collar worker at a refinery, and he lost his 2009 Chevy Corvette in Hurricane Harvey, which just happened this past fall. I think something that he really wanted in a vehicle was he really wanted another sports car. So maybe just like an updated version of what he originally had. And interviewee two, she's a 25-year-old female. She works in Houston in the finance industry. She had a 2006 Toyota Corolla. It got her from point A to point B. She really enjoyed driving it. She never really had any problems. I think the biggest issue here was she needed more space in her vehicle. She had two dogs, and it just wasn't enough space for her. And also the car was it was getting a lot older, so 10 plus years, and she just wanted to upgrade the vehicle. So what they purchased was, interviewee number one purchased a 2015 Chevy Corvette, so he kind of stayed within the same, he kind of stuck with the same brand. So mostly some brand loyalty here. He just kind of went with a newer model vehicle. Interviewee number two purchased a 2018 Honda CR-V. I think the biggest thing for her was convenience, something that was going to last her a very long time, and I think that's what was important to her. Some attitudes and behaviors and emotions that I observed in this project from the different interviewees. So, for example, interviewee number one, I saw that he had some very deep involvement with this purchase decision. He's a car enthusiast, and he works on cars regularly. So, and it's just a very big purchase for him. So he was deeply involved, and it was just a big decision for him. Also, there was a lot of emotions of joy for him, especially after losing something that was his pride and joy, and he had been working on for many years now. Interviewee number two, she had more of some situational involvement, which she had never really looked at cars and never even thought about it. So it wasn't even until that situation came along that she actually had to be involved in it, is when she really was actually looking at vehicles. Emotions of anticipation was when she was kind of waiting and seeing, which car. She looked at many vehicles, and it was kind of like a big purchase for her. So it was very stressful, and the anticipation was pretty emotional on her. Also, I think she went hand in hand with the learning hierarchy in the attitudes. It's very common. So think, feel, emotions. I think that she really went hand in hand with this as well. So in conclusion, my analysis of their decision processes, I noticed, for example, interviewing number one, he really had low involvement for information searches. So whenever he was looking at vehicles, he really didn't have to go through research and call people on the phone and try to figure out prices and information. He already knew a lot of information and prices, and he didn't have to go through that because he was a car enthusiast and he knew what he was looking for. He bought this vehicle for pleasure. So this really goes hand in hand with Maslow's pyramid in the esteem and ego tier. So he was really buying this product to impress people and kind of show off. And also he stuck with brand loyalty, which originally he had a 2009 Chevy Corvette, and he just upgraded to a newer model. So he just stuck with that brand. Interviewing number 2, she really had some high involvement in her information searches because she had never purchased a car before. So she didn't know a lot about cars. She had a lot of questions. She didn't know how much everything would cost. She had a certain budget. She was in very strict communication with dealerships and private owners and situations like that. Compared to interviewing number 1, she bought for convenience and he bought for pleasure. So it's a little different on that note. She just really wanted something that was going to get her the point A to point B. And that concludes my presentation. Thank you.